Well, hello. Okay, I will give you 4 things to try before you quit your job. We all used to have bad working experiences sometimes. It can be toxic corporate culture, high stress levels, burnouts, and our favorites, this lovely feeling that your job is kind of meaningless.
What's wrong with this one? Oh, nothing, Tommy.
I was personally on the edge of quitting many times, and I even did quit my job a few times. Although now, after years, I can see that maybe it wasn't always necessary to do. So let me share with you a few things that I've learned. And let me start with this. What is meaningless for you can be meaningful for other people. And this is fine. We thrive in different type of companies. If you are easily inspired by huge missions, maybe you would work well in a bigger companies in a big corporate, where because of the scale of the company, your personal impact to what the company is doing will be smaller, but you won't mind. Or if you feel that you're easily disconnected from a big distant goals, maybe you would fit better in a smaller company where your personal impact will be bigger and more visible. Either way, the things that I'm about to share with you would hopefully support you if you have a feeling that your job is kind of meaningless. And it all narrows down to 2 directions. Either we try to understand ourselves or refocus ourselves. Now, tip number 1, find ways to connect your work to your personal values and passions. I know, I understand. We all have job descriptions, and quite often we cannot affect what we're actually doing at work. It doesn't directly depend on us. But what we can do is, for example, bring something that we're personally passionate about into the working environment. We can change not what, but how are we doing things. For example, if you're an adept of a healthy work-life balance, you can bring this culture to your working place, to people around you, and this is how you will be positively impacting people that surround you at work. I think we often underestimate our impact on the people around us, but you can bring your values to your working environment through this, through affecting others with your example or promoting a certain culture. And as you can see, it doesn't change what you actually do at work, it rather changes how. So you use your self-awareness, your understanding of your values, and it makes your time that you spend at work more meaningful through that. The second one is to seek for opportunities for learning and growth. And this is a huge one because even if your job is not inherently meaningful, you can still learn from it, you can still grow through it. And this is a mindset question. I personally do believe that we learn as much as we are ready to learn. So maybe we can approach our meaningless job not from a perspective of a burden, but looking at it as an opportunity. For example, you started in a company with a low level, not really impactful job, but you can use this time to learn about the company and see if you want to grow there further. Or you may be doing something that you're not really passionate about, and you will learn a new skill through it, that we never know how we would maybe need the skill in the future. And in the worst case scenario, you can try to take it as a kind of patience training. I mean, I did that. I had a job that was as meaningless as it can possibly be. And while I was busy with looking for my ways to get out of it, I was actually taking all this experience as one big patience training for myself. But in most of the jobs, you can learn something and you never know how it can be helpful to you in the future. Now, if this doesn't work or if it's not enough, what we can also do is to refocus ourselves. For example, if we're feeling heavily disconnected from our work, we can choose to focus on the smaller things that brings us joy and a sense of fulfillment. It could be, on one hand, different ways how you can make your working environment more enjoyable for you personally. For example, what tools are you using in your working process? I don't know, what notebook do you use for your notes? What surrounds you at work? Can there be something that would make it a little bit more enjoyable for you? I don't know, even how you dress. For me personally, I like to do my makeup before work, and actually when it was pandemic, I did my makeup literally every morning because it did help me. But on the other hand, you can also focus on building a positive relationship with your colleagues. I mean, we spend a lot of time with these people, and maybe it makes sense to put a deliberate effort to make your connections with these people more warm and more meaningful. I promise you, it will make the time that you spend at work much more enjoyable. And once again, as you can see, it has nothing to do with what you're actually doing. It's what you decide to focus on. Now, if all this didn't work, I believe that there is no harm in seeking for something more meaningful outside your work. We can all find something that would fulfill us or give us a sense of purpose outside of our working hours. And here people usually suggest volunteer work or something like that, which is of course absolutely amazing. But to be honest, I do believe that even spending a time with people you love, quality time with people you care about, or pursuing your hobbies and interests, it also counts, it's also worth it. It's also meaningful. Now, there are of course much more things that can make you wanna quit your job. But if you're struggling with this feeling that your job is kind of meaningless, I won't be the person who would tell you, oh, quit your job today, pursue your passions. Because first, it's not that simple, it doesn't really work like that. And second of all, come on, let's be realistic. So many of us don't have a luxury of just quitting the job. That's why if you found yourself in the situation and you, as many other people, maybe cannot just afford quitting your job because you think it's meaningless, I gave you 4 potential suggestions. Give this a try. I hope it will make you feel better about your work. Good luck.